Everyone, welcome back to CPK Books and Accounts channel. In today's video, we will walk through the complete US payroll employee onboarding process step by step. We will cover everything from hiring a new employee, collecting employee information, Form I-9 verification, Form W-4 completion, payroll system setup, new hire reporting, benefit enrollment, and finally processing the employee's first payroll. Whether you are a payroll professional, HR executive, business owner, or someone learning US payroll, this video will help you understand how employee onboarding work in the United States. So let's get started and simplify US payroll employee onboarding together. Step 1. Hiring the employee. So once the right candidate is selected, the employer sends an offer letter containing job position, salary or hourly wages, joining date, working hours, employment type, company policies and benefits. After acceptance of that letter, the onboarding process officially begins. Step 2. Step 2 is collect employee details. So employer gathers important employee information required for payroll and tax setup. The journal information collected is full legal name of the employee, residential address, social security number, contact details, date of birth, emergency contact, bank account details for direct deposit. This information must be accurate because payroll taxes depend on it. Now moving on to the next step. Step 3. Complete Form I-9. In the USA, employers must verify the employee's identity and work authorization. The employee submits documents such as US passport, driver license, social security card, green card. The employer must complete this process within 3 business days of hiring. Official government resource USCIS Form I-9 information. So this official government resource, you can search that on Google and you will find the I-9 sample. And I have attached this I-9 form here as well in the same PPT, but here we will discuss first about I-9 and then I'll show you the I-9 form as well. Okay, so US Citizens and Immigration Services Form I-9, officially called the Employment Eligibility Verification Form. It is a mandatory form used in the United States to verify employees' identity, authorization to work legally in the US. It is required by the Department of Homeland Security for almost every employee hired in the US. Okay, so why it is important? This I-9 form, required by law for most US employees. It helps prevent illegal employment and identity fraud. Protects employers during government audits, essential for HR, payroll and onboarding compliance. The process for that I-9 is employee fill section 1. So again I'll show you this I-9 form and there you can see section 1 employer information and attestation, section 2 employer review and verification, and those sections will be discussed here. So employee fills section 1 online, employer reviews original documents, employer completes section 2 electronically, digital signature may be used, form is stored electronically, and this is mandatory form needs to be filled by the employee and submit to employer before joining the job. So the document required, employee provides original documents such as passport, driver license, social security card, green card. Basically, employee submit his citizenship of US to the employer. So main purpose of this I-9, to ensure employers hire only individuals legally authorized to work in the US. Yes, and then record retention. Employers must keep I-9 forms 3 years after hire date or 1 year after employment ends, whichever is later. So the important rule about documents, even if I-9 is completed online, the employer usually must still physically examine original documents, or follow authorized remote verification procedure. Photocopies alone are generally not enough, so employer do the manual verification as well, the physical examine as well. So here we have discussed previously section 1 filled by the employee. These are the basic information employer has to fill into it, and then section 2 completed by the employer as mentioned under the process section. Okay, so step 4. Now move after I-9, W-4 should be collected from the employer as well by employer. Form W-4 helps employers calculate how much federal income tax should be withheld from employee wages. The employee fills details like filing status, dependents, additional withholding preference. Without a W-4, payroll taxes may be incorrect. And this official IRS page that I have mentioned, that if you write down IRS W-4 form on Google, you will get the sample PDF copy for your reference. Okay, why form W-4 is important? Correct federal tax withholding. It ensures employees do not underpay taxes, do not overpay taxes. Second, it helps employers process payroll correctly. Payroll systems use W-4 information to calculate federal income tax withholding. Without a W-4, employers may need to withhold tax at the highest default rate. And then the third point is affects employee tax refund or tax due. The amount withheld during the year impacts whether employees receive a tax refund or owe taxes when filing returns. And who must fill out this form W-4? Most employees working in the US complete form W-4 when starting a new job, changing tax situations. And here most has been mentioned, but each and every employee working in the US should complete this W-4 and submit to his employer. So I have mentioned this should be submitted when starting a new job or changing tax situations. For examples, changing tax situation example is getting married, having children, because in W-4 you will mention that how much children you have. And then if you are doing multiple jobs, that should be mentioned into W-4 as well. Change in deduction. If you want any change in deduction, that I don't want that with this federal withholding should be deducted from my salary, so you have to mention this in W-4, but that should be legal. You should have some proof that why this should not be deducted from your salary. And now, when is form W-4 completed? Usually during employee onboarding, new hire paperwork process. Employees can also update it anytime. Now, discussing about the W-4 main sections of form W-4. Step 1, personal information, name, address, social security number, filing status. Then filing status option is single, married, filing jointly, head of household. Step 2, multiple jobs or spouse work. Used if employee has multiple jobs, spouse also works. It helps avoid under withholding. Step 3, claim dependents. Employee may claim child tax credit, dependent credit. This can reduce tax withholding. Step 4, other adjustments. That is optional. Employees may enter other income, additional deductions, extra tax withholding amounts if they want to withhold extra tax from their salary, so they can check that box. And the last step is signature. Employee sign the form to confirm accuracy and submit it to the employer. And this is the format of W-4 sample file. You can download that from Google as well. You just have to write down W-4 form PDF and you will get the sample form. Step 5. Now after I-9, after submitting I-9 and W-4 for onboarding the employee, employer has to do state tax registration. Some US states require additional employee withholding forms. Example, in California, the form is DE4. In New York, the form is IT 2104. Employers must follow their state payroll rules. Why additional state forms are needed? Every state has different tax rates, payroll rules, tax credits, withholding calculations. Because of this, some states create their own withholding forms instead of fully relying on the federal W-4. So federal W-4 federal taxes are different and state taxes are different. That's why they have to submit different forms. The employer has to submit different forms. Okay, and employer has to register the new employee. If the new employee is from California and another employee is from New York, so employer has to register the company in both the states, and they will get the separate state IDs because the tax rates are different in both the states. So that's why employer has to get registered the company in both states and have to pay the taxes while processing the payroll for employees. So here are some examples, and the first example is regarding the California DE4 employee withholding allowance certificate issued by EDD, Employment Development Department, used to determine how much California state income tax should be withheld from employee wages. It is similar to federal form W4. It is similar to federal form W4 but totally different as well, because W4 is federal and this DE4 is state form. Employer uses this information for California payroll tax calculation. Example 2, New York IT 2104. Purpose: determines New York state tax withholding. Employees complete it along with federal W4. Why this matter in payroll? Correct state withholding helps avoid payroll tax errors, prevent employee underpayment or overpayment, maintain state payroll compliance. Payroll professionals must check employee work state, state withholding requirements, state payroll tax rules. Now the next step is payroll system setup. Now the employer adds the employee to payroll software. Common payroll software used in the USA is QuickBooks Payroll, Gusto, ADP, Paychex. Gusto is my personal favorite because this is simplest software to use. Even though ADP is also simple, and QuickBooks Payroll as well. So all the softwares are simple, but I have used Gusto and ADP most, and for QuickBooks Payroll as well. QuickBooks Payroll will sync the payroll transactions directly into the QuickBooks, so that's why it is easy. But there are lots of confusions when the QBO is syncing the paychecks into QBO, so that's why I would love to go with Gusto and ADP. Okay, moving on to next step. Payroll setup includes employee payroll rate, payroll schedule, tax deductions, overtime eligibility, direct deposit setup. This is the stage where payroll becomes active. So while setting up the payroll, so if I'll give you an example of Gusto, in Gusto you will click on people. On the left hand side you will get a list of options. There you have to click on people and click on add new employee. When you are adding new employee, at that time you have to mention the pay rate of for that employee, payroll schedule, whether you have to pay to that employee on weekly basis, bi-weekly, monthly. Then tax deductions. Tax deductions includes that social security, Medicare, those are the common taxes which has to be paid by the each employee. And then moving on to overtime eligibility. If employee will work overtime, then what rate he will get, and the basic rate he will get is 1.5 as per law. Then direct deposit setup. Employee, we have to set up the employee's bank details so that if we will process the payroll for employee, then where employee will receive that money, in his bank account. So his bank account setup will called direct deposit setup. Now the next step, new hire reporting. Employers must report newly hired employees to the state government. This reporting helps with child support tracking, employment verification, fraud prevention. This step is legally mandatory in the USA. So employer must report newly hired. So the new employees employer should report about the new hired employees to the state government. Why? Because government will let the employer know that this person has to pay monthly amount for child support, sorry. So if that is the case, then some of the part of employees salary, or you can say a portion of employee salary, will be deducted and goes to state government, so that state government will fund that money to the respective guardian for child support. So the next step is benefit enrollment. If the company offers employee benefit, the employer enrolls the employee into health insurance, dental and vision plans, 401k retirement plans, paid time off policies. Some of these deductions directly affect payroll calculations. So health insurance, 401k, those departments are directly connected with your payroll software. So once you will input all the details of an employee into Gusto or ADP, and that employee is set up on that payroll platform. So after that, health insurance or 401k, employer has to reach out to 401k or health insurance vendors that we have hired this new employee, and you have to give benefit of health insurance, and he will do the 401k contribution as well, so that they will set up accordingly. The health insurance and 401k vendors manage accordingly and will deduct the respective portion from his salary. Now the next step is provide workplace access. The employer gives the employee access to company email, payroll portal, office system, communication tools, laptop or ID cards. Training and orientation may also happen here. So this is the last step. This is the basic step. Once you will join the office, all the everything is set up. The payroll details are set up. You have submitted all the forms. Now if it's your first day, so this is the basic step, that you will get the company email, payroll portal where you can check your salary slips, and then office system you will get a laptop, and then communication tools you will be added on the Teams group, or you will get the email as well to raise the queries and all, and then you will get the laptop and ID card at the end. So that's all. Then process first payroll. Once employee is onboarded, so if I have joined the company, then I'll get all the details. I have submitted all the things to the employer, and now I have to do work, and at the end of the week or bi-weekly or bi-monthly, payroll will be processed and I'll get my salary. So that's all in this video. I hope this will be helpful for you. Thank you for watching, and I hope this step-by-step explanation helped you understand the complete onboarding process and the important payroll forms involved. If you found this video helpful, please like, share and subscribe to CPK Books and Accounts for more practical videos on US payroll, bookkeeping, accounting and taxation. If you have any questions or suggestions for future topics, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.